This podcast is a part of the Royal We Network.
Spit on me.
These are unprecedented times, Nathan.
No, yeah?
Now, normally, we just banter back and forth. Sometimes I say, I got something to talk about, and then we get into it. You know, we're a podcast, we do headlines. We'll get into that intro in a second. But, Nathan.
Yeah, Sam.
Aliens are real, apparently.
Are they real?
Well, listen.
I don't think they've told us that yet.
Did you see? Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot,
and I've been following it.
You seen the thing about the guy from Israel, the ex-space guy?
I've not seen.
He used to be the
ex-space guy from Israel.
He used to be the ex-space guy from Israel. He was the head of the space department in Israel.
Okay.
And he came out saying, like, aliens are already among us. Trump was he wanted to tell everyone, but he couldn't. And there's like, they have a agreement that our governments give them people to experiment on. Like they have a lab on Mars, 20 miles below the surface of the Earth on Mars, or below the surface of Mars. And there's American astronauts there.
Okay.
You've not seen any of this.
All right. No, I've not seen that. And I just said I've been following. I've been
following it, but no, the big stuff, no.
Not the Israeli spaceman who says that we've got an agreement. But I've been following all that stuff about all the different sightings. Like they just released more confirmation because there've been all those visual.
Yeah, the UFO stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been but now they have them like on not only visual sightings, but visual sightings paired with radar data, which they've never had before.
Yep. Right.
And there was like the warships that were literally like swarms of these things. I was talking to my buddy John about it the other day, and I was like, dude, I don't care if they're fucking Google drones at this point, or Amazon drones. Like, I just want to know what they are.
Well, but then it comes out this. I mean, dude, that guy went on to say there's like an intergalactic federation that they're like trying to get humans into, and they think we're just about ready. And the governments wanted to tell everyone.
Are we?
That's what they said. That's what the Israeli spaceman said. but so if that's true, right? If that's the truth.
Yeah.
And they said that they're already among us. They say like they've interbred with humans, and like some humans are aliens, they don't even know it.
I mean, makes sense to me, man.
I mean, that's one guy. That's like one guy who said it, but he's like an official guy.
I mean, Men in Black.
That's like, I mean, who's going to have to say it? Because that guy said that and the world didn't go crazy. And then the FBI, the government, released all those UFO footage and the world didn't go crazy. What's it going to take?
Right.
Does the alien have to be like, hey, bud, does the alien have to send out a tweet?
If the aliens are going to have to show up and be like, what?
Like get them on.
But I was going to say, here's the crazy thing, though.
Yeah.
Is an alien could beam down on live television in front of the entire world at like some sort of press conference and be like, yo, we're from space.
What's up? Let's go.
Up? No, dude, I'm from there. And there would still be loads of people who would just flat out never believe it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I agree.
It could be close. I mean, people are going around thinking the Earth's fucking flat. I mean, if an alien was just like, "Hey, I'm an alien," they're like, "Nah, it was fake." What's like people already? There's a huge people who are going on about how all these videos and things that have been coming out have already been debunked. They're like, "No, it's weather balloons." Like they solved that, and it's like no.
I've never once seen what a weather balloon looks like up close. Like, what is a weather balloon? And how is well, you know what I'm saying? Like there was like, oh, it's weather balloons. But what the fuck's a weather balloon?
Yeah, if a weather balloon's not traveling 160 miles an hour against the wind, like that, listen to us.
And darting around. Yeah, listen, we finally done it. We've lost our minds.
we did.
But dude, I mean, I've listened to a lot of podcasts and YouTube shows, and they're all talking about these alien stuff. But what the hell?
I've been saying it for years, like probably the past 3 years or maybe more. I'm like, it feels like they're softening us up. Like they've been slowly like.
That's part of what the Israeli guy said. That's what they've been doing. Have been doing that.
Because if aliens just showed up, people would lose their fucking minds. But if they slowly give you out a little, it gets to the point where people's knowledge of it is like, yeah, I've heard of that. Like I've heard, and it becomes where it seeps into the everyday.
Which is like now they've been getting pretty bold with it.
Yeah, if another like getting, if it's on the news, so like your parents or grandparents, are like watching it, being like, huh. It's weird. I was like, I've been hearing a lot about this UFO stuff, and it just softens up your mind because if you just pop up on somebody with something, I mean, that's like, but what I forget what it's called, but that's like 101.
That's a moray.
That's a moray. but it's just like, yeah, like, so, like, even like in a normal conversation, like, say I was wanting me and you to like, hey, let's go to Amore's and get pizza.
Okay.
But you've been like, nah, I don't want, I'm not into, I'm trying to cut back on my carbs. But then slowly over like the course of a week, I would just in casual conversation, just drop things about how good Amore's is, or how, and like a little bit.
I thought you were going to choose something way crazier, like let's get married or something.
Or that. Yeah.
Well, because let's go get some pizza. I mean, yeah, I take a little bit of convincing, but you're going to really have to soften me up if you want to put a ring on it, baby.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know why it was just go get pizza. That's not a hard. That's not a hard.
Imagine a world where I want you to go get pizza with me. Now, hear me out.
Now listen, I'm gonna have to do some crazy subversive mental tactics to get you to go eat pizza. Talking about
the mozzarella and the salam.
Just start generally talking in a bad Italian accent. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. What are you talking about? I'm just busting your beans. What? Is that even an Italian thing?
Okay, so welcome to another episode of the podcast of the Royal We. That's the name of it. Hey, I'm Sam.
I'm Nate.
And what our alien overlords allow us to do is we read headlines and we don't read the articles because facts just get in the way. Well, are there even facts now? Debatable, okay? People, debatable.
It's true. We talk about facts, but
wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeple. Yeah, if we're in as much of the disinformation business as anybody else is.
Part of the problem. We like to act like we're above it, but we're soundly in the problem part of the
yeah, because we're just like, what's that mean? Who knows? It's probably this, and then but we don't claim to be news for fuck.
No, we don't. We're no news.
Yeah, we're two dudes talking, having a good time. That's all it is.
What's great though is we've been doing this such a long time. We're pretty good at guessing what it is. Like we've figured out like if we read a headline, we're like, I bet you it's just this, and then we read it, we're like, yep, that was what it was.
Yeah. We've been in the game long enough.
We got it. So what we do is we read the headlines. We don't read the articles. Yep. At the end, we read one article just to figure out what it is. If you want to send us headlines, and you should. And you guys can do that at Royal WeCast on Twitter, royalwecast@gmail.com, royalwecast.twitch.tv, no, twitch.tv. Just type Royal WeCast into your social media of choice. Let's get into it, man.
You might get a band. I think there's a band called the Royal We. It keeps popping up on YouTube.
There's a song.
Oh, is it a song?
I know there's a song. Is there a band? I know there's a book. There was another podcast, but we defeated them by being more stubborn. We did. We just kept putting episodes out.
We did. They had like 10 episodes and we had like 40. And we're like, hey man, we've been at this longer. We should get that name. And they're like, all right.
Yeah, they actually were before us and had a way more legit situation. They had a whole website and stuff. And we're like, but we've been doing it more.
Yeah, we sent them all these emails.
And they gave up.
Yeah, we sent them all these emails like, hey, you guys, you come on. And they were like, oh, okay.
That was back when we were young bucks. We were full of fucking piss and vinegar. We were like, all right, fuck you, other podcasts. We started international friendships. We're starting podcasts. We got fingers in different pots. Now we begrudgingly do this once a week. Like, all right.
You'd sit here for an hour and a half while I fucking figured out how to record this goddamn thing until I get a new mic. Good Lord.
So, God damn it, man. There's aliens doing experiments on Mars. But here's the thing. If Trump honestly fucking knew there was aliens, then why was he doing any of the other bullshit that he was doing? You know what I mean? Like, you know that pale blue dot speech that Carl Sagan gave, where he wants to there's an overwhelming feeling when you're an astronaut that you look at fucking back at Earth, and they always feel like, I wish I could get every politician up here just to look at it and be like, everything all the lies you spread, all the bullshit just to earn another buck. Look at this goddamn planet we live on. And then Trump, according to the Israeli spaceman, here's a goddamn rant I'm about to go on, ladies and gentlemen. He knows
you're well on your way.
He knows there's goddamn aliens, but then he's telling people there's fucking pedophiles in pizza shops and that he's going to be the Speaker of the House or some nonsense. It doesn't line up, man. I don't think the Israeli spaceman knows what he's talking about. I think he's just, I don't think, I'm going to say there's not true because Elon Musk, $1 billion, he doesn't know there's aliens. He's doing all this stuff to try to get a thing on Mars, but we've already got alien technology. We're already there. I don't believe it.
There you go. You stamp it.
You heard it here. I stamp it.
Yeah. Who knows? But I'm excited. Later this month, we've got that report coming out, which I think some of that already leaked. And they were saying that basically they're saying that definitively in the report, they say it's not, which is a funny thing to say if you were doing top secret research, is to say it's not top secret U.S. research. Like, it's definitely not that. So,
but the U.S. report says that?
Yeah, the report apparently says it's not secret U.S. research. And they just say, they also mentioned in it that apparently people were worried that it's either Chinese or Russian, which that's what I was saying before. I was telling my buddy, John, I was like, dude, I hope it's aliens over fucking China.
I agree. Or Russia. Come on, man.
Or either one. Let it be aliens. Let it be some omnipotent fucking force, not the Chinese. Come on.
But I would say no way, man. I just don't think because people can't keep shit a secret. Like, Israeli spaceman knows about stuff and he's telling us.
That's true. I mean, that's true. Maybe he's now been let off the leash. Go tell him. Nobody will fucking believe you. But also they were saying in the thing is that China and Russia, the reason they don't think it's either one of those either is because they're also basically researching the same stuff. They've had their own sightings apparently, and they're trying to figure out what it is too. So it's like if all three of us are looking for it, then it means that it's probably not any of us.
I don't understand how there can be. How do you have these big like there's like something that seems to be studying us, and then we want to talk about whether gay marriage should be legal?
I know it's insane.
Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, let them marry, but let's also figure out what the big eye in the sky is. Why is it looking at us?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
There was a thing here recently where Neil deGrasse Tyson was on Joe Rogan.
Okay.
And they had this backwards and forth where Tyson was playing like the ultimate skeptic. And he's just like, listen, he's like, I don't think it is aliens. He goes, the hubris for us to think that an advanced civilization would be even remotely interested in us at this point in our civilization. He goes,
yeah, makes sense.
Well, Joe Rogan replied with, are you kidding me? He goes, I think we're insanely fascinating. He goes, we're a bunch of barely competent apes who have weapons that are capable of destroying the world 1,000 times over. We make up rules that don't matter, and we have elections that are just population or popularity contest every 4 years, and the stuff that really matters is just glossed over. It's like people rape and murder and do all this crazy stuff. We're interested with, celebrity families with big butts, and he goes, I think we would be infinitely fascinating to an advanced civilization to come along and look at this and be like, wait, well, look at these guys. Like this group of people or things have look what all they have accomplished, but look at the level of maturity they're at. And it was like this great juxtaposition against Tyson's argument was like, we're too inferior. And he was just like, but I think we're weird enough that someone might be like, what the fuck's going on this planet?
That is a funny idea, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, reality TV alone.
Yeah, just the whole juxtaposition of the human race is insane. But
I guess the idea, though, is for that to be a thing, though, you'd have to assume that their society is either so far beyond that or never had that stage.
Yeah, or we're just so different. It'd be like discovering something and be like, look at this. Like, how are they even?
Well, they've always said that if you teach a lion to speak English, you wouldn't be able to even talk to it.
Yeah.
Because it's all of its frame of reference, and it's like its analogies wouldn't make sense, and the way it would
everything,
even if it could speak the words, it just couldn't relate to you.
Yeah, the context wouldn't be the same. Yeah.
So that makes, I guess they'd be so advanced they'd figure out a way.
Yeah.
But apparently they're walking among us, man, and they want us to join a space galactic federation.
Galactic Space League. I'm telling you, I always used to say, I don't know, years ago I used to say I wish I was born in the 20s because it just seemed cool to wear a hat around. But now it seems like, man, I wish I was born 100 years from now. That seems like the better option. Of course it is.
Yep.
Instead of going back in time to die of fucking typhoid or something.
And you know what I bet you, because I was just going to say, it doesn't feel like we'll make it another 100 years. But go 100 years back, 1920, fucking Great War,
Yeah.
They're not thinking we're making it to 2020.
Right, exactly.
They're like, God, we've...
Is that I've thought of this a lot. Is that a part of getting older? Because, used to sit and listen to my grandparents and be like, oh, the world today, the world's getting so bad. Good Lord's just going to come and take us all because the world's getting so bad. And I'm like, fucking.
Yeah, it's a lot of their podcast is many episodes of just that.
Yeah. And I was like, 10-year-old me is just like, okay, the world seems pretty great because I get to go outside and just fucking catch bugs and
Right.
You know what I mean? Do shit like that where they're like getting old and have worked their whole life in a coal mine and like it's just like and then they're just seeing like new stuff that like it doesn't make sense to me anymore that you can have.
And when they were kids, they could buy a house for a nickel and feed their entire family with a day's work. You know, like for a month.
Now a telephone costs $1,000.
Can you imagine saying that to a grandfather?
I feel like, yeah.
He probably paid $60 for his car.
Yeah. Be like the phone came with it. It was they threw in
Now
the phone.
a telephone costs $1,000 and there's aliens and no one cares, Grandpa.
You're like, oh. Just let me
We're
get
too
back.
busy injecting our butts with silicone.
Yeah, we're
Silicone.
Oh my God, yeah. It's nuts. Oh well, I gotta get back and dig them taters. Somebody's got to tend.
I mean,
them
our
home.
world makes no sense, man. I mean, I've seen more tits today than our grandfathers did in their lives.
We've talked about that before. How like you, how just by accident you can see more nudity.
Ooh, maybe that's what happened, man. Maybe no, hold on. I mean, I went a bit of a I did a bit of a jump, but maybe the aliens didn't come from a faraway place, man. Maybe like. Because we get so self-absorbed, we start like photoshopping images of ourselves and putting silicone in our butts and stuff. Maybe they like came from the internet or they came from like
Okay.
I don't know, some other dimension or something. Like they didn't. So like the thing that Neil deGrasse Tyson or a lot of physicists say is like space is so big that maybe there's aliens, but how the hell did they get here? Maybe they never had to get here.
One of my buddies, my buddy Chach, has had a theory since high school that he's always thought that aliens were just people from the future who've just found a way to come back and watch us.
Okay, yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, I mean that's just as plausible to me as fucking they flew from another star.
Well,
because that seems bananas right now.
Yeah, that does. But it's like when you look at in the 1920s when they would say like what the future will look like, and it's all like people with big weird shoulder pads and like helmets and stuff and jetpacks.
Yeah.
It's because aerospace was just getting off. So they're like, well, if we just continue in this direction, everyone will have jetpacks. It'll be great. It will be living on the moon. But then obviously it's not a good understanding of what actually happened. So then now,
right, yeah.
You think like, oh, well, they have to travel from another star to here, but maybe they don't.
Yeah.
Maybe they can communicate to us somehow, or they can get here through
manifest themselves somehow through
psilocybin.
Yeah, through future technology. Yeah, it's DMT. They're all just doing. They found the machine that lets them get hooked up. They just do DMT and they can.
What's so funny is it makes you the person the least likely that anyone would listen to about having contact to the alien race.
And what's super funny is like that'll be the thing. It'll be the most whacked out thing that'll just become fucking Earth canon. That will just be like, oh yeah, it turns out it was this.
Yeah, that's how it goddamn works, man. I mean, a guy figured out how to put pictures of your mom's tits on a piece of sand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what? Who's got to figure that out?
Actually, that's what we were talking about before, was that how many of the same sex genitalia would you have seen 100 years ago if you...
Oh, dicks? How many dicks?
Yeah, like I've seen more dicks in my lifetime than, like you said, my probably all of my ancestors put together.
But why are you making the distinction between because if you're not homosexual, you're not like looking at other
exactly.
You're not looking at your right. Oh, I see.
Right. Yeah. If you were homosexual, then you probably you've seen a few. But even still, it was harder to be homosexual 100 years ago. So you may only seen
still not great.
Like you said, you could still throw that up on the list of how many coot coots and poop poots. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Wait, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about dicks and tits all of a sudden?
We haven't talked about a single headline.
Damn it.
Well, I guess we kind of have. This was like headline exclusive because the big headline is alien UFOs and all that stuff. So we kind of, I mean, if you bend the rules a little bit, after I bend them a little bit more, if there's something I found that I was like, I've already read it, so I can't like send it in as a headline, and it's not.
Send it in as a really official way to send it in, as if there's an organization of people who like send it in. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't know why send it in got me so tickled.
Send it in.
It's like, just give it to me. Sam, you seen this?
Well, the thing is, like, because kind of the gimmick is that you try to surprise me with nonsense.
Oh, sure.
And so if I see it, so this is kind of a bit of a role reversal, I guess, but it's an all-in-one story that I saw, and I was like, I gotta tell.
Well, I mean, I find news and I surprise you with that nonsense, but then you surprise me with nonsense all your own, buddy.
Yeah.
The royal way.
Why it works. That's what royal way. So this like kept me up for a minute. Because like I was trying to like fall asleep, and the way to not fall asleep is to just scroll the internet on your phone. That's exactly what you shouldn't do.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Internet's a big place.
I mean, there's a million times where I've tried to go to sleep, just go, listen, what are you looking for? What are you looking for, bud? Just go to sleep.
And I honestly have that like fear of missing out thing, but it's more fear of not, like I know just around the bend, there's something that if I go to sleep now, I'll never find it. And I have to find that it's like a fucking addiction. Like I'll find, and I found this, and it kept me up just thinking about it for like another.
I found it.
Yeah, it kept me up just thinking about it. That I was like, there we go. Just turn it off, man. Like you're not going to get better than that tonight. Okay, Usain Bolt.
Okay.
Fast.
Not how I thought this was going to start, but all right.
Usain Bolt, fastest man on the planet, fastest human on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In his spare time, he trains tortoises to race.
Okay.
Let me say that one more time. The fastest man on Earth, in his spare time, trains the slowest creature on Earth to be the fastest. Now the thing is, his tortoise is also the current world champion. So the fastest man on Earth trained the slowest animal on Earth to be the fastest, slowest animal on Earth.
God, when you read that, did it almost kill you?
Yeah. I was like, who's writing the code to this simulation? Like, what is the fuck is happening?
How did he get involved in that? And how do you train a tortoise to go?
And I like to think that there's some connection. There's some connection to him being like trying to come to terms with being the fastest person on Earth, to be like, what would it be like to be the slowest? And then he somehow gradually gets attracted to giant tortoises, like Galapagos tortoises, like the ones that are like the size of a fucking, what are those things called?
Dinosaur? Car? Tire? Buick?
I think Ottoman was what I was looking for.
Ottoman. The size of an Ottoman. Yes, a standard unit of measurement.
I was thinking the whole time.
You've become the very thing you hate.
Huh?
You're always talking about like, oh, this pool is 14 hot dogs wide. You're like, what the fuck does that mean? Or you could go to the Earth and back. Like, what the fuck? Give me a unit of measurement. I understand. Now you just described a turtle as being the size of an Ottoman.
But it is.
All right.
And it's one turtle to one Ottoman. It's not one. It wouldn't be like a brontosaurus with the size of 3,000 Ottomans. That makes no sense. But I can see one turtle, one Ottoman. My brain immediately goes, okay.
One turtle, one Ottoman, Sam.
One turtle, one Ottoman.
I'll trade you.
There's a banana for scale. One turtle, one Ottoman.
What came first, though? His running or the turtle training?
The running. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Maybe he was inspired.
He's like, this little guy can't go fast. I'll go fast for him. Imagine if Usain Bolt did it all for the turtles.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, the world, it seems like he did.
Listen, the world, as topsy-turvy as the world is right now, I ain't putting nothing out the window. Usain Bolt became the fastest human on Earth because his turtle friend couldn't.
Well,
that's a Lifetime movie, at least.
we should write those.
They'd be so easy.
Well,
my favorite one I ever saw was called Secret Cuttings, and it was just about, and not promoting, of course, talk to somebody, don't cut yourself in secret, but it was the most over dramatized thing I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Well, it's so funny that people who don't have the ability to do something delicately or masterfully produce the cinematography required to do that delicately, try anyway. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many of those, we watch a lot of B movies.
Yeah.
And we watch a lot of people talk about B movies. How many of them feature rape scenes?
A lot.
What are you doing? Stay away from that. You don't have the ability to make that delicate or subtle or anything other than awful.
Yeah. Which is the only way it should be perceived in a film is awful, but they go about it to where it's like somehow, and it turns out being somehow comedic. And you're like, oh no. You're like,
well, because it's handled so poorly.
Yeah, so badly. And you're like,
who agreed to this?
Yeah.
Who signed up for this? Those are real people on the camera. We can see them.
There's like so many. How many times we watched movies where like, I don't know, it'll be the worst movie you've ever seen, and all of a sudden a woman just takes her shirt off, and you're like, oh no, honey, not for this.
Yeah, we say that every time. Not for this.
We say that all the this, not for this, not for this. Like, don't, no, not for this. We're all over the place.
Oh, dude, we haven't even started the episode.
See, we haven't.
We haven't done a single head. Well, I mean, it's about that time to wrap it up. We can't click anything.
No.
I mean, any final words?
I, for one, welcome our ant overlords.
Tell me, man, what do you think?
What?
Do you think anything I said about that Israeli spaceman? Do you think there's really, like, they're among us? They have agreements with the American government?
I mean, I have my thoughts.
And they are.
But then I also done LSD several times, and it's led me to believe that I don't know. I mean, anything could be possible.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that.
It could be, I mean, it's like, probably not. But at the same time, if that happened, I'd be like, yeah. There'd be a part of me that's like, yeah, like that doesn't surprise me at all, because I think you've had every thought ever. And
the thing about it that doesn't line up for me is it's that Occam's razor, that simplified thing of like, if that's true, then what's the incentive for anyone to be doing anything else?
Exactly.
Why is anyone fighting about abortion or things like that when there are spacemen among us?
Well, then it just got to be because they don't know.
But the government knows. But
Yeah, the government knows, but they're not all of them. Not every. I mean,
But you think-
if they can't agree, they can't agree on anything. So even if certain ones know, you got to think at the highest level, certain people know. I mean, do you think like party systems break down at a high enough level, or if there's still if these people rise through the ranks, there's still people who are like, I'm a conservative Republican.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So even at the highest level, that still exists. So that even though they know the same things, they have different ideas of how to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or does that
Here's this theory.
dissolve? Does it dissolve it? There's a level where like that's left behind. And it's like, listen, we're above that shit now.
I think it's more complicated than that, man. I think it's they tell them there's aliens and they say, hey, man, to keep up the charade, now you've got to pretend to still be about the stuff you're into.
Yeah.
Like before, like even though now you see the futility of it and you see how fucking pointless it is to have a shit about this.
Yeah.
You've got to like really, you got to go double. You got to double down, man,
because people will freak out. You don't want the masses to freak out and kick you out of power.
Right? That's what they said. They said that Trump was going to release it. He's going to say, hey, guys. But then the aliens asked him not to because they didn't want people to freak out.
The aliens asking, hello, Mr. Trump. Well, there was a thing I sent a video to you guys where Obama, they were asking him about just recently about all this stuff. They're like, what do you think? No, about, and he goes, listen, there's just certain stuff about UFOs and aliens that I just can't talk about. And he just straight up said that. I might know something, but I can't talk about it. So
yeah, that's where it gets really complicated because even to talk about it,
yep,
like people can't handle it, man. People can't handle the idea of wear a mask to protect yourself from germs or protect other people from your germs.
Right.
Let alone we traveled through the fungus network that's the dimension next to yours using a tardigrade. What was that bullshit that they did in that Star Trek show?
That Star Trek. It was everything was connected by like some sort of like fungal network and like tardigrades that was wild.
Dude, we turned on that show so hard. Do you remember we were like, yeah, there's another one. Let's watch it. We like got 3 or 4 episodes in and we're like,
I was into it. Like the first several episodes, I was like, all right, cool.
I was too, yeah.
And then it just, yeah.
I think, but they kept adding so many goddamn stories and it didn't make any sense and they wouldn't explain anything.
No, it got, but after a while it got to where we were watching it because it was shitty.
Well, yeah, there was a couple times it would cut back to a storyline. We would laugh. And that's where we were like, oh, this is something different.
Yeah. And then it got so shitty that we just quit watching it even because it was shitty. I remember it was shitty and cold. Remember, because like we were in the living room trying to watch an episode of it, and we were both under blankets because they don't.
Oh, the weather was cold. I thought you were saying the show was shitty and cold. I was like, I don't get it, but okay. It was cold, man. It was cold as ice.
Yeah, the weather was cold because there's no heaters here because it's tropical.
No.
But every now and then it gets unseasonably cold. We were on the couch like under blankets watching this. And I remember it was so cold. And there was one part like we got like, I was like, how much is left of this? And you hit the button and you're like 28 minutes. And I was like, man, I don't give a shit. It's like I had no supposed to go get in my bed and get warm. You're like, me too. And we turned it off and we never watched it again. We just like went to sleep.
I mean, how many video games have we remember we used to play Borderlands like every day.
Yeah.
And then one day we just went, no, it's enough of that.
Yeah,
or like, what else? We played, there's a bunch of games like Apex. We used to play the fuck out of Apex. And then one day,
Yeah, just stop. Just play the hell out of it and stop.
stop. Well, okay. Just like we do that, we should also do that to this episode of this podcast.
Listen, we've done that with this podcast. We just did a bunch of episodes and then stopped.
We have done it, and we should also do it with this episode.
Yeah.
But much like we've started and we never really started, I'm not really sure how to end. I guess I should just do the business.
I guess just do the business. Yeah, this was a weird one. We didn't.
I don't think we've ever done this. We've never forgotten to do the episode.
Yeah, if we did like one big. It's just because we never talk, man. We never talk, and then we get on here and we just. This would have been a conversation we would have had if nothing would have been recording.
No, it's true. Listen, do you know what Zach's new place is like, man? Because we should just go there, sit on his couch, and just let him film us while we talk.
Yeah.
Listening at home, if you want to watch that, raise your hand. Keep them up. Keep them up.
Counting.
Yeah, a couple of people.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of the Royal We. I want to thank Ishibashi for letting us use the song intro/pathos on the album 151A. If you guys want to send us headlines, and you should, I guess. I mean, we didn't use any of this episode, but you can do that at Royal WeCast on Twitter, royalwecast@gmail.com. Just type Royal WeCast into Google. You'll find us.
Yeah, not Royal Weak Ass.
No, yeah. If you guys have any more information about aliens, tell us.
Send them in.
Or you want relationship advice? I've always wanted to give people that. I mean, I have honestly no business giving anyone relationship advice.
Me either.
But I always like that Bill Burr does that. I always think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
When or like, Dr. Drew, that someone's like, I got a fucking finger growing out of my ass, Dr. Drew, what do I do? And he's like, oh, great email. Like, it'd be funny if people ask, well, he's a doctor, so it kind of makes sense that they would ask him things like that.
Yeah.
But like, Sam and Nate, there's a finger in my ass. Take it out.
What are you doing, Bo? I don't know why we would talk like that. Maybe we're trying to convince them to go get pizza with us.
All right, good night, Dad.
Goodbye. Coot coots and poot poots. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Wait, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about dicks and tits all of a sudden?